This is a message from my client Aaron. He approached an IG model on the street and she asked him out on a date. His secret? He simply used these 7 techniques that can turn any conversation from boring to flirty. And if you want to get insane results like Aaron and all my other clients, watch till the end and click the link below to join my private coaching program. Starting with the first tip that has transformed my clients' results almost overnight. It's called magnifying. Magnifying is when you take whatever she says and exaggerate it into something funny, ridiculous, and most importantly, playful. Here's an example of it in action during a cold approach.
I do speak another language though. Can you guess?
Spanish?
It's a little racist just guessing based on my skin tone.
Notice how I magnify their guess and playfully tease them by calling them racist. It immediately gets a reaction as they laugh, and it establishes a playful back and forth dynamic. When you say something unexpected, it immediately spikes emotions. This is why magnifying is so powerful. It takes a boring, predictable convo and flips it completely on its head. Now, while magnifying is a powerful tool to help you shift the conversation from logical to emotional, there's one important aspect that you need to keep in mind, and it's called playful disqualification. The absolute best way to make a beautiful woman chase you isn't by impressing her or showing her how amazing you are, but by playfully suggesting she might not be good enough for you. This creates a strong emotional spike in the conversation because she realizes that you aren't going to put her on a pedestal and worship her like every other guy. When done correctly, this technique will make her work to prove herself to you and chase your validation. Here's an example of a girl using playful disqualification on me during a cold approach.
The food of Rome?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Bye.
Notice how when I say I don't like Italian food, she turns her back on me and playfully says bye, jokingly implying that what I just said is a deal breaker. This is exactly how you would do it in a conversation with a girl you were attracted to. This kind of disqualifying spins the conversation and gets the other person to start investing and qualifying themselves to you, even if only in a joking way. Disqualifying is great for building momentum early on and sparking interest in the conversation, but if you want to keep that momentum going, you'll need to use the next tip, which is cold reads. These are bold, specific assumptions about her character or life that trigger immediate emotional engagement. They bypass small talk completely and add depth to the conversation. Most guys waste time on boring small talk that makes women mentally check out before there's any chance of attraction. Here's an example of me using a cold read during an approach.
Hi, I like your outfit. What's your name? Are you Russian? Okay, I was close. That's it.
Notice how her tonality and inflection immediately spikes, and she's interested in how I was able to guess her ethnicity. This is exactly why cold reads are so powerful. If you're right, she'll think, how did he know that about me? If you're wrong, she'll think, what makes you say that? She may even be slightly offended, and it can create a funny back and forth dynamic. Either way, if your cold read is right or wrong, the conversation is now a lot more emotional and she's way more engaged. Now, cold reads are great, but what you say immediately after determines whether that connection deepens or fizzles out. That's why I'm about to show you the perfect follow-up technique. The us and we frame. Here's the truth most guys never understand about attraction. It's not just about getting her to like you as an individual, it's about making her feel like you two are a great romantic match together. This works because of a psychological principle called linguistic framing. It's just a fancy way of saying that the words we use literally shape how we and others perceive reality. When you use we and us language, you're bypassing her logical mind and directly speaking to her emotional brain. You're not trying to convince her that you two should be together. You're speaking as if it's already happened, already real. Here's an example I used on Hinge with a girl that I matched with. I said, why do I get the feeling we'd vibe really well in person? Notice how the message pre-establishes compatibility and positions me and her as if we're already romantically involved. This makes it easy to transition into a date because the conversation starts from the we frame, and as you can see, she replies positively, and that sets us up directly to go for the date. Using this technique is a powerful way to plant a seed in her mind that you two have strong potential for a relationship, and it works especially well when you use it in combination with this next tip, the triangular gaze. Most guys avoid making strong eye contact because they get intimidated by the women's presence, but eye contact is the first step to establishing sexual tension in a conversation. The way you look at a woman when you speak, how you look away when she loses her interest, and how you look her up and down in a suggestive way right before you make a move. All of these build insane amounts of attraction because you're speaking the language of subtlety. The way to dial up eye contact to the next level and build sexual tension that has her waiting for you to make a move on her is the triangular gaze. Simply looking at her left eye, then her right eye, and briefly down at her lips before returning back to her eyes creates immediate sexual tension, because when you briefly glance at her lips, you subtly communicate you're thinking about making a move on her. It's bold enough to trigger attraction, but subtle enough to not come off as creepy. The most powerful moments in flirting aren't when you're talking. They're in the silence between your words. And this brings me to the most powerful technique in this video, the power pause. This is that moment in the conversation where you just finished delivering a flirty joke, or you just made a direct statement, such as inviting her over, and instead of rushing to fill the silence, you stop. You don't rush to clarify what you meant or backtrack on what you just said. You stand by it, letting the silence build as you confidently look her in the eye and make your intentions clear. During this silence, there's an entire conversation happening via sub-communication. How strong your eye contact is, whether or not you're fidgety, or if you try to follow it up to fill the silence, all tells her what she needs to know about you as a man. With the power pause, you're subconsciously saying, yeah, I know I said it and I meant it. Now what are you going to do about it? This is why it's important to not buckle under the pressure, but there's a caveat. If you want to truly master this technique and take the next step towards intimacy, you need to understand this one concept that will make or break your power pause in any escalation you do. And it's actually quite simple. When it's time to make the first move, whether it's a kiss, a hug, or anything else, slow down and pull her into you. This subtle move exudes control, and it subconsciously communicates that you're bringing her into your world. This establishes leadership and makes her feel irresistibly drawn towards you. You're the one in control. You're not entering her frame, you're pulling her into yours. And whether she realizes it or not, that shift hits her deep. It makes her feel safe, turned on, and led. So the next time you're about to make a move, don't hesitate. Put your arm around her waist or behind her neck, or just grab her hand and gently pull her in a slow, controlled, and certain manner. It needs to be subtle and smooth, especially when you get to more intimate environments such as your house, a quieter part of the bar or the restaurant, and it's just you and her. You can talk slower, maintain stronger eye contact, slow down the cadence of your speech, and you can even lower the volume of your voice, because again, it's just you and her. And once the mood is set with your words and your body language, you can slowly pull her into you until you make that move. All of these subtle communicators help put her in the mood and is going to make the conversational vibe more romantic regardless of what's being said. And once you slow things down verbally and physically, if she seems more comfortable and receptive, you can slowly start escalating more and more physically and see how she responds. Now, as you can see, flirting isn't rocket science. It's a skill that can be learned and mastered with the right guidance. And if you want to use it to start dating top tier women, then click here to watch my full video showing you exactly how to date 9s and 10s consistently. And if you struggle with flirting and want to work with me personally one-on-one to help you implement these strategies with the women you're most attracted to, click the first link in the description and apply to work with me, and I'll hold your hand into getting 1 to 3 days per week in the next 3 days.